just wanna cruise around the block with my knees while we spark. Turn our demons as we drag them out the dock. You not innocent, you tried to fit the frame for the fame. I'm not with it, I'm not honest.
Welcome everyone to another exciting episode of the DCL podcast. Today I have Veo to my side.
Yo. I'm Veo, local musician, artist, clothing designer, all of the above. I'm just another nigga who make art. I played cello since I was like 11 years old. My homie in college, I just met him, his name's Sax, 2018. Him and his roommate was making beats and freestyling on them. One time I came in, it was right after I got food. This man freestyling 4 minutes straight. My homie Sax slid in for a 16. I thought that shit was so funny. So I thought I could, learn how to rap. I listened to lo-fi beats all throughout college, so that's really how I started. After that, I think my homie pirated me FL, got me my equipment at the crib at the beginning of quarantine. From there, I just practiced. It kind of started as my little hobby, my little therapy session. And then the more I did it, I realized like, damn, I actually really like this shit. I'm low-key kind of decent.
Yeah, I like that you said that it was more of like a therapy session, because music, it can evoke a wide range of emotions. It really can help you express who you are through music. How do you use music to express yourself?
When I first started, I feel like it was more literal. Whatever I was doing in that moment, I would try to rap about. I feel like now it's more reflective. Like the songs that are true to me is more experiences that I've been through recently, things that like I'm putting in a perspective for myself. And a lot of the times, like I feel like people have like a black and white view. Like if you write music, you either talking explicitly about yourself wholeheartedly or you're making shit up, you're capping. I feel like music is an entertainment form. So everything's not gonna be explicitly about, you know what I'm saying? If I have a situation with a girl, it's not gonna be every detail about that situation. Like that's kind of weird, but my shit is pretty true to myself. It's like the events definitely stem from who I am and what I've been through, and it's never nothing that's too far left or too far right on the spectrum of this is completely out of the box. Like this is not that Veo. Like when people listen to my music, they're gonna be like, this is definitely Veo. Like I was there when that happened. Like I remember this, or I know this man that he mentioned. Like that's so funny. Like
what is your creative process like? How do you get in the zone to write and compose music?
To get in the zone, I more so gotta hear myself. But I gotta hear myself. Like I listen to the beat, or I find me an instrumental that I really like. My homie will whip something up, and I listen to it. I mess around with the auto-tune. I mess around with some like flows and cadences, and then usually like my first impression to a beat is how I started. So I write my first bar and like how I'm feeling. Even if I don't necessarily keep it, it gets me in like the motion of just like saying whatever. I try to do it every day too, every day, every other day, at least like a few times a week, because it's like your voice is a muscle. Like if you don't use it, you're gonna lose it. Especially like the way that you come on a beat, you won't come as confidently if you're not putting in the reps of, all right, I wrote this bar, I with this, let me lay this down. Boom, you lay it down, you listen to it back. Now you have that experience of, all right, I just took one step forward towards this vision of a song. So I really just start step by step. I start with the first bar, fill out the beat, and then try to find the content based on how the beat make me feel and then move from there.
I feel like a big misconception for people who are getting into making music is they'll write things down, they'll have a good outline of a song, but they didn't listen to a beat as they made that. So now they're trying to move it onto a beat and the rhythm isn't there or the melody isn't there. So how important is melody in coming up with that flow for the song?
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, a lot of the time, I think it's maybe because I have a music background, like I write my shit a cappella. So it's like some of my hardest songs, like I'm on shift. Like when we used to work at the restaurant, I'm on shift, bored as hell in the garbage crowd, like writing the hottest 64 bar I've ever touched. And I don't have a beat for it yet in mind, but like when I listen to the beat, that's when I start thinking like, all right, it's kind of two separate things. Like my content is one thing, like the words that I say is one thing, but how I say it on a beat is way more important than what I'm saying. Because 9 times out of 10, like people probably watching this have ADHD. Like they not gonna really pick apart your verse the first time they hear it, pick apart like, you know what I'm saying, your cadence or your flow or what you saying. Unless you say something mad outlandish, like people are not gonna really tap into that. It's the melodies that catch people's ears and that helps you, you know what I'm saying, into that deeper dive into someone's music. Because if I'm listening to something, like I want to be able to sing it and hear it back, like Lil Baby Crush by Jordan Ward. Like that song recently, I heard that melody on that shit, bro. I didn't even know what he was saying at first, but like the more I listened to it, I'm like, all right, like this is fitting. Like I'm not gonna lie, like this melodic, like I feel like it's not necessarily a new wave thing, but it's definitely something that's like a new genre kind of being blended. It's definitely important to have like a melody and a music aspect to your songs. Like a lot of people nowadays, again, don't have the attention span to hear like people just spitting. So it's good to have like a blend of like, all right, this your hook, you singing, or you have vocalist, or you have some type of melody tied into your content, because otherwise people get bored real quick. And it's not like, you know, I have my rapping songs where there's no hook. Like, don't get me wrong, like I rap for me, but you know, sometimes like, you know, you want that consumer hit, you want that that people gonna play in the smoke sesh or people gonna play in the party, like you gotta have a relatability to it. And a lot of the times, like that first point of relatability be the melody.
And when you have that catchy or memorable hook or melody that comes with your song, it's just gonna blow up more just because it's easier for people to listen to. It has that vibe that people can't get from just words, because words in music are important, but sometimes we can't even hear all the words in the song, and we're just hearing how they're going in on the beat, and we're like, yeah, I like this, you know what I mean? I'm feeling this. You know, how does the use of beats, production, and instruments contribute to the overall impact of a song?
There's layers to it, really. I feel like on the spectrum, like nowadays it's super easy to whip up a beat like on FL, Ableton, you know, Logic. You can make something with like samples, algorithms, like instruments, plugins. So I feel like nowadays a lot of songs are made with like synths and electronic sounds. And I feel like on one spectrum, like that kind of gives a high energy, I say a trendy vibe to it. Like I don't want to put nobody in no box, no artist in no box, but basically like when I think of shit like that, I think of stuff like mainstream rap. And there's layers to it, right? Like you have the, I don't want to rank nothing, but you have like the quick kind of trendy sound. And then I feel like on the other side of the spectrum completely, there's instrumentation. So it's like whatever vibe you're trying to get, like generally when I hear real instruments on a track, I think it's more mature. Like not that it necessarily is better or worse, but it just sounds more heartfelt. Like, you know what I mean? You can't not feel emotional when you hear like strings on a track. Like you hear a Mac Miller song with cello on it, you like, whoa, like he talking his shit. But then you hear like, you know what I'm saying, a YSL song or like a Young Thug song, some shit with like mad sense, 808s, Uzi songs, like they got weird ass, you know what I'm saying? Like weird ass percussion instruments going dumb. It don't necessarily matter what instrument that is. Like people can't tell me what instrument's playing on that, but it's like it goes. Like it's equally as good, but it's just I feel like the beat necessarily tells the tone or starts like the story for you. If you got a deep instrumental again with like cellos, like upright bass, violins and shit, like I'm thinking you talking about something that's real true to you, real true to the heart. Like anytime I hear like an authentic sample or OD sample, like that's the vibe I get. It's a little bit more mature than like, you know, the trendier music that's 808 cents. Like that shit fire too. Don't get me wrong, I listen to both, but I feel like that's more so where on my end, like when I hear something, if someone's chopping something up, I hear strings and shit, I hear horns, bro, I'm talking about something way different. If I hear the fastest, you know what I'm saying, hyper pop, 808, Juice WRLD type beat, like, yeah, I'm talking about something way different on that spectrum. Like it's probably gonna be shorter bars, one-liners and shit versus like, I'm giving you the hardest 64 again, like the hottest 128 of my life, no hook.
Lyrics are one thing, but the way it's delivered is what separates an average artist from a great artist. Delivery is very important. So what are some tips and strategies you would give for new up-and-coming artists to improve their flow?
Man, I'm still a new up-and-coming artist, but I would definitely say, again, just do that shit. Like, don't necessarily care about how it's gonna come out. Like, don't overthink like what you're saying. Cause the first things I say on the mic, no, I'm not gonna lie. Like, at the point that I'm at, 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna keep it. That's my foundation. But like, you can always change things. Like, you can always listen back and be like, oh, this is ass. Like, let me go back and change it. I'd say just be open to your approach. Like, if you have a verse, and that shit not flowing right, be like comfortable changing your shit. Like, you're not second guessing yourself. It's your art. It's a digital canvas, basically. Like, every time I open up FL Studio, my voice is the, you know, the brush. I can really do whatever I want. You just gotta go with that mindset. Like, as long as you're capable of executing that, bro, some of my homies do one line at a time, like, and that shit come out overly fire. Like, some of my homies rap the whole verse at once and it come out overly fire. It's just your style. Like, once you find your workflow, stick to that, practice that. But then be open to changing it a little bit. Be open to your environments, like the people you work with, like the shit you see on the internet. A lot of people have been in spots where you've been, like, use their experience to keep going because there's no reason for you to be closed-minded in one process. That's what I see a lot of people do. They get closed-minded and they get like kind of like tunnel vision. You just want to do it the same way for 2-3 hours. Like, that's good practice physically, kinda, but it's like your voice again is a muscle. Like, when you hit the gym, bro, you're not doing like back squats 280, you know what I'm saying? You're not doing that all day. Like, you gotta warm up first. You gotta, you know what I'm saying, stretch afterward. You gotta make sure you take care of your voice, because if you just keep going at it with no objective, like, you're gonna get tired and then you're gonna get frustrated that your shit don't sound as hard as it did when you first started. Like, I feel like it's a mix of like, you gotta know yourself, you gotta know like what level you're at. You also gotta not be afraid to just do shit that might be out of your comfort zone. And also, you got to be consistent in doing the shit that is in your comfort zone.
I think definitely confidence plays a big role in that, because if you believe in yourself and your abilities and you're finna go on that beat, then you're just going to be in the moment. Things are just going to come in your head. But if you have that mental block of anxiety, or I'm around people and I don't want to say the wrong thing, or I'm afraid of failure, then it's harder to freestyle or even come up with music in general. So definitely making sure you're comfortable in your environment, I think, is really big. Do you practice like with your vocals?
Yeah, I mean, I practice singing all the time. Like, even in times where I'm not in front of a mic or where I'm not necessarily performing, I still try to practice. Like, see, I'm crazy though. Like, music is my life. So, like, it literally at any time, any point in the day where there's like silence, I'm 9 times out of 10, you damn near gonna hear me singing, or you damn near gonna hear me rapping something that I wrote. Like,
And what's that feeling when you're making a song and it's just sounding really good and it's just consistent progress? What's that feeling that you have when you're making music? What keeps you going?
I always compare like music to athletics, because I'm not gonna say I've never been good at athletics, but it's not my strong suit. Like, that's something I had to develop, something I had to really work at. So like, shit, when you make a new song, bro, and that shit actually hit, and this is like what, the 3rd, 4th song in the week that actually hit. Like, you found a consistent rhythm. It's like, bro, you going through your season like all-star stats, like, and you the only nigga playing. Like, it's you versus you, but at the same time, it's like you the MVP. Like, when I make a song and I love that shit, bro, like, it feel like, man, I'm a day at Six Flags, bro. It's like you something to celebrate for sure, because it's like you can maybe not visually but audibly hear like the progress. You can see the steps, like the first song to now. Like, it's so easy to see the progress. It's so easy to see that shit from like not even yourself, but like from your team and your peers and everything. Like, because music's hard to do by yourself. There's a select few individuals who do make their beats, engineer their tracks, like rap all their shit. I'm not gonna lie, that's something I want to get to that level eventually. I dabble in a little shit, but I feel like right now I'm real focused on being a vocal artist. But there are that talented 1% of people who do all that shit by themselves, and I'm sure the feeling that I'm feeling right now is way more intense for them. But at the same time, like, it's cool because I can see the progress with my team, like with my engineers, my producers, and myself, and also my peers rapping. Like, let's say we made a song in 2020 that's like, we thought that shit was the hardest shit ever. Same group of people collabs, and it's like 3 years later, bro, the sound, the stories, like, everything gonna be more mature. So it's like, if you stay consistent, you're gonna undoubtedly see the progress. Unless, again, like, there's some people who's like, this shit is not for you. And that's like, in every aspect, like, some motherfuckers cannot hoop. Like, some motherfuckers are not built for football. Like, music's the same way. Like, I think everyone can do music, but to do music at like a high level, some people don't have that drive or focus or creativity. And that's just like, I won't beat yourself up for it, but I believe most people, damn near 99.99% of people, like, if you stick to music, bro, you're gonna see progress, and that shit gonna make you happy. Even if you don't do it seriously, like, you just talking about, I don't know, one of my friends showed me a song called Let's Go to Trader Joe's. Like, I'm not gonna lie, that shit hard, but they're not talking about nothing. I bet you, like, when they first started making music, they didn't even imagine themselves, like, making some shit like that. Because it's actually, like, it's a funny-ass song that I enjoy listening to in my chill, you know what I'm saying? Chill time is not serious, but yeah, you can still see the progress, like, easily.
Doing music, doing anything in life, you need a team behind you. You need to ask for help, because you can't do it all yourself. And you might be able to, but your progress is just going to be limited because you can only do so much by yourself. So if you have a team that's consistently getting better, you guys are consistently working, like he said, 3 years later, you're going to look up and you guys done made so much progress.
I wouldn't say you can't make progress by yourself, because if you think about you doing this by yourself, bro, you making a lot of progress. Like, you doing a lot of shit.
Yeah, definitely, but it's still limited because I'm editing videos. If I were someone who could literally just get behind the mic and I would have someone record, someone edit, other people promote.
One day.
Then, one day. So right now, I need to prove myself, work my way up, and then once this becomes something that I do want to take and expand, that's when I will start, getting a team behind me. Yeah, definitely, I can get this up and running. Podcast is really great, but I'm still limited in things I can do because I am doing this myself.
Yeah, that's true. I think it's all perspective for sure. When you're first starting out, it's important to like just be like a sponge, like just absorb knowledge, like just practice and practice. Because I mean, like, you live your life, like, don't let this shit consume you. But practice is important, and like learning every aspect of what you do is important. Because it's like, say I want a picture edited or something, like I'm taking a photo shoot, right? I don't know how to explain what type of editing I want on a photo, then it's like there's room for error now. It's the same with music, like same with podcasting, same with making content, same with literally doing anything. It's same with, again, sports is the same way too. Like, if you don't know your plays on the court, bro, like, you can't explain like, bro, no, I need you to come pick and roll here. I'm audition when he turned, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't give plays if you don't know the playbook type shit. And like with music, there's low-key a lot that goes into it. So it's like you either pick your lane and kind of restrict yourself, which is one way to do it. Like, some people have those resources, those human resources and that money. But me personally, I don't. So it's like a long time ago, I just ran my shit up, bought what I needed. And now it's like, I don't really have to spend money to make music and get better. So it's like, you can take that other route of being independent, which is what I'm trying to do, which most people are trying to do. Being independent allows you kind of just to have like that free reign of like, all right, my studio at the crib, you know what I'm saying? My homies willing to help me out, or I got a team that's willing to help me out. Just because I feel like that authentic startup energy kind of like is contagious. Like a lot of people really resonate with that shit. Like a lot of people want to be something. They want to put their heart and soul into something. Just like most people don't really know like the avenue to do that. I feel like that energy is the law of attraction. Like it'll come to you. Just like when you start up, bro, like I'm telling you, just be ambitious. Like don't just settle for, you know, I hopped on the mic, I made a good song. Like I think this is kind of goofy, but it's whatever. I'll listen to it with the homies, blah, blah, blah. Like if you genuinely want to do this shit, like mindsets like that are gonna set you back in a way. Like you're gonna waste time because you're not worried about like what your true intentions are. But I mean, like again, like music don't gotta be serious. Like I don't be, every time I step in the booth, I'm not overly serious. So
Definitely, I think it's important to, with whatever you're doing, is to focus on the actual process. Don't focus on becoming profitable right now. Focus on the process. Love the process. The most successful people fall in love with the process. They fall in love with what they're doing. They, you know what I mean? You love to write music. You love to make music. You're not so concerned on, oh, this has to be profitable. This has to do this. And that's why it works for you.
Yeah, that should be blowing me. I'm not gonna lie. Like people come up to me and they be like, "Yo, let me get on track. Let's get rich." Blah blah blah. And I'll be like, "Bro, like you think I'm not rich right now? Like you hopping on this bitch not gonna change that for me. It should take time. Like if you enjoy something, like Jamin said, like it's building blocks, bro. You got to start somewhere."
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. So what artist would you say personally inspires you and why?
Man, I'm a big Midwest dude. You know, growing up, I always listened to Chief, Herb, Saba, Chance. Damn near anybody out of Chicago. Like I really fuck with specifically Saba. Like his journey is like akin to how I feel I want mine to look like. Like bro, he's independent. He started up with just his collective, you know what I'm saying? Got into a good situation, saved his bread, started his own tour, and now my boy is like damn near like worldwide. Like motherfuckers love Saba now. Back in the day, like I would just listen to his mixtapes on the cloud with Chance. So it's like to see him go from like a mixtape, SoundCloud type artist to, all right, your shit on Spotify is really juking. You making songs with Herb, you making songs with niggas like Fushi, like that's crazy. Another artist, Tyler, like used to be, I'm not gonna say buns, but like Tyler used to be such like a uncensored individual. It threw me off. Like I'm not gonna lie, like I grew up listening to like 808s and Heartbreaks, Kid Cudi, like with I don't want to say like structure, but like sort of elegance to it, a sort of structure to it, but it's still like that's the most uncensored shit I'm listening to is Kanye West and Kid Cudi. Like they talking about some pretty uncensored shit. I hear Tyler talking about throwing hard R's in songs, like saying the most crazy shit ever. It's like, bro, that shit was off-putting as fuck. Growing up, it's like I hear that shit again. I'm like, all right, this nigga mad different. Like when I tell you like Tyler's musical ear is crazy. Like I went back and listened to Cherry Bomb a few years ago and I'm like, bro, this nigga is low-key like borderline a genius. Like I don't know. And I feel like in the past few years, he's been getting recognition damn near beyond what, you know, he's even say it is beyond what he deserves. But I think that Tyler is genuinely like a genius. Like, and the fact that he started learning like how to produce music and make music outside of the content of what he says, like he learned that shit when he was in his 20s. So it's like that resonates with me because like I've always been involved in music since I was like a real little kid, but I didn't really take this as a serious opportunity to grow until I was like 19. So it's like seeing Tyler do that shit when he's 19, 20, like starting to learn. He moved out of LA, started learning instruments, started making his own beats, and now he's getting Grammys. Like that shit is inspiring as fuck. And he rapping about shit that don't generally like either. It's not like his content like isn't for the viewers, for himself. So it's like that's another thing I really resonate with.
That's another thing that makes him original and makes him unique.
Yeah. Another inspiration is probably my last one. I'm talking too much about inspiration, but J. Cole, bro. His older music, 2014, that was my favorite album for the longest time. But even aside from that, his documentary, he talked about how kind of like he planted the seed of the idea of music being like a muscle. Like music is kind of a skill you need to hone. He said like for the longest time, like he's hooping, he's hitting a dead end, like he doing good in school, but the thing that really made him feel like, oh, I'm different is when he spits. And like every time he stepped in the mic, like every time he stepped in the studio, he treated that shit as like, you know, I gotta put my 1,000 shots up for the day. Like I'm in the gym basically. Like I need to warm up, get my shit in and get out. Like studio sessions can really get like that. It's crucial because if you can focus your time, focus your energy and intentions, again, like anything could happen, bro.
What you're putting your focus in towards, you know what I mean? How much time, how much energy, what exactly are you putting into there and what you want to get out?
Exactly, yeah. And music, like, I mean, you got to remember, too, music to bring people together. So it's like, you can be a good artist, you know what I'm saying, and not blow up, but you can have a whole community or culture right like right behind you. Like that feels good. Like having people come up to you and sing your songs, like not even in the way of like, oh yeah, I'm that nigga, like that makes me feel, but more so in the way that's like, damn bro, like something that came from my brain is bringing people together. Like what? Like something that I said is relatable enough for people to remember and like kind of like piggyback off of and kind of like boost your energy with. Like that's a good ass feeling, bro. It's unique.
What message or emotions do you hope to convey to your listeners when you make music?
It kind of varies every song. Like some songs, I get in the booth, I'm quite obviously trying to turn y'all up. My energy in that situation is, I hope you put this on when y'all are taking shots. And this is like the last thing you hear before you dip out the house. That's the, you know, like I put on like, again, like keef, Herb before I dip out, Lil Ron before I dip out. Like I'm trying to go dumb. Like that's my intention with that. Like I'm trying to replicate like that energy of I'm trying to go dumb for other people. But then there are also songs that's like, I want y'all to feel sad. Not sad for me, but like I said, that community feeling like, let's all be sad. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you can relate to this sadness. Like, Shorty did me dirty. Not everyone can relate to Shorty doing me dirty. Like, you know what I'm saying? Some songs like, I'm trying to inspire motherfuckers to stop being sad. Like, get the fuck up. Like, make your bread. There's shit to be done. Like, you can't just wallow in your sadness. Like, I don't know. Music can be, like, for me, a therapy or an escape. So it's like I kind of go with it. That when am I expressing something that's real heartfelt? Am I trying to, you know, make you cry? Am I trying to make you feel romantic? Like, damn, that nigga talking about love. Shit, let's take shots. Like, let's go out. Like, it's one or the other. Like, you either trying to touch your emotions or I'm trying to turn you up.
Everyone should have like a message that you're trying to display, whether you own a business, whether you're a podcaster, whether you're making music. Here at the DCL podcast, we're just here to inspire discipline, adversity, strength, and love upon all our listeners. I want to empower all you guys to live life to the fullest and make a difference in the world. This was our first episode with Veo. Our next segment will be on being an artist and branding yourself, so stay tuned for the release and man control of your life.